Hello everybody and welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. Today we're building a little living room. This is totally an Instagram living room. It took a couple iterations and I had to take a break there a little bit to figure out actually the rest of it, because basically I've been seeing on, I watch a lot of like interior design reels and stuff on Instagram when I'm like brain dead in the evenings, and I've seen a lot of people do like really brightly colored cutouts in their living spaces. Like they'll have these really pretty archways with like maybe a bar or just some decor in like their living rooms or dens and different things, and I wanted to see if I could pull it off in The Sims, and I think it turned out pretty cool. And then I had to figure out what to do with the rest of the living room, and I've been watching a lot of Fixer Upper Welcome Home, so you can definitely see the influences in this. But it took a little bit of thinking about, because at first I was like, oh well, I'll do 2 archways and have the other archway be to like whatever the rest of the house would look like if I was doing a whole house. And ended up doing double doors, but I don't think I stick with those doors, and the room just kept getting progressively smaller because I wanted something cozy. And so what we ended up with here was almost more of a sunroom situation than like a true living room. You could very easily swap some of the things out and make it a much more usable family living space. Like if you swap some of the decor for a television, maybe swapped the chair out for like a love seat, you could make it very usable in a house, or you could tack it onto the front of like maybe a little bit of a fancier home and have like a front receiving room or something like that. Or like in my house, we always joke that we had a living in a family, because the way the house that I grew up in was laid out, there was like this front space and then this like big open back space with like the kitchen and everything in it. And so we always joke that we had like a living and a family room, and the living room was basically just family room part 2, but the idea was like it was supposed to be a little bit more put together and cleaned up, so when people came over they didn't think we were a total mess. That was the idea. So this could always be like someone's living room and then have a family room in the back or something. That makes the house sound really huge. It wasn't. It was a really cute little 1,500 square foot. It was just the way it was laid out that we ended up kind of with 2 living spaces. I've often thought about building that house. Maybe that's our next project, is to build the house I grew up in. That'd be really fun. But this particular living room, or receiving room, or whatever you wanted to call it, it took a little bit of thinking. This is one of those where I really wish we had some more decor items. This is one of those where I really wish I had either downloaded some CC or made some CC myself. Basically what this living room was calling for was a couple more modern mirrors and big clocks. Honestly, like I'm on a big clock kick. They don't even have to be functional, but you know those ones that are like giant, they're like 2.5 feet, you know, and they've got Roman numerals and they're all distressed. I really wish we had something like that, or a clock that would size up to be something like that, because there's a lot of spaces in my house where I'm like, a really big chunky clock like that would look really cool, or just some big art piece like that where it's very sort of neutral but has a little bit of style and decor to it. I don't know. I definitely want to redo some of the art in this game. But so that was like the biggest struggle, is figuring out how to get the art pieces and stuff to work. And this ends up changing because I did want to do a big mirror, like, but I kind of wanted like a small cutoff version of that leaning mirror. I wanted something to be leaning here, and this mirror doesn't cut it, so it doesn't stay. But you can kind of see the archway idea here, where it's just this like really bright cutout. So I do hate the wall height, I'll be honest with you, because it sucks. It sucks for the rest of the room. It was really hard to decorate the rest of the room because the walls are so tall, but the other archways are they're like really formal, and I didn't want really formal. I wish we had a like small wall height, normal arch that wasn't all like funky, you know? And I know that sounds kind of silly, but because I love doing archways. You know what I wish, honestly? I wish we could do archways like spandrels. Because you can almost pull off an archway with a spandrel, except a lot of our spandrels and stuff are either really fancy or really square. It would be cool if you could do an arch like that, but draw it like a spandrel and it just kind of arced. Maybe it's locked to like 2 or 3, but it would be really cool if it could figure out how to draw an arch across, because I would love to have like, I can't tell you how many times I would have loved to have like a 3 or 4 wide arch, just because I want something decorative in between 2 spaces, but I don't necessarily want a doorway, you know, and like I said, the spandrels don't always suit. And so, yeah, I wish we could draw archways. That would be amazing. I know they function more like doors, like I get that they split a room, but it'd be cool if there was a form of archway that would work more like a spandrel, or if we just had a spandrel that arched like appropriately across, that would be really cool. I don't know how you do that programmatically, but that'd be really cool. But anyways, that was the problem. That's the reason this is like a medium wall height, which generally, like, I do that a lot because I like the doors and stuff at medium wall height, but I hate decorating at medium wall height because then you get in here and all the furniture looks so squat, which is so annoying. So I did start with a fireplace in here. I was pretty attached to the idea of a fireplace, and it wasn't working. Our fireplaces all have very specific sort of themes to them, and that wasn't what I was going for. So I ended up just going with a statement sort of buffet piece here, which was heavily inspired by some stuff I found online that is like Joanna Gaines builds and stuff like that. Like I said, that's been basically just dominating my life lately. But so I just went on like a stock image hunt to try to figure out like what I wanted to do. I wanted warm tones. Here you can see me trying desperately hard to make a big clock situation. I should clarify, there is that one big clock, but it's thick. I just want like a flat art piece, like honestly like that ship's anchor, but just a little bit flatter, and a clock and not an anchor wheel. Today on Amanda Incorrectly Identifies Things, that was a ship's a wheel, not an anchor. Anyways, point being is that's like the size, right? And like it didn't stick out too far from the wall. That'd have been great if it was a clock. So it took a really long time for me to kind of figure out what goes up there, or like the size of that mirror. That'd be great if that mirror was a clock. Perfect. But so I ended up doing, like, it ended up taking a long time to kind of stumble across something I liked. And to be honest with you, like I like this piece a lot, but it's not what I was going for, you know, and that's kind of annoying. But it did end up being kind of cool in the long run. I was trying to figure out how to like combine multiple things to get what I wanted, and I ended up putting the taller version of these in there, I think. Is that how it works out? Yeah, it's the tall wall version of those, shrunk down, and then I put like a plant, and it ends up being pretty cute, but not quite what I want. It fits the vibes though. This room ends up pretty cute. This is just me complaining for however long this video is that we don't have a lot of wall decor, and then not doing anything about it, despite the fact that I could just probably make my own, question mark. Maybe we'll have to look into that. So, but I really love how this living room turned out, and it was just one of those where I was like, oh, you'll probably see something very similar to this in an upcoming build. Not the cutout itself, I don't think, although I could. I'm working on like a farmhouse right now, and it's kind of kicking my tail a little bit. Not in a I don't know what to do with it kind of way, in a I have a lot of ideas that I can't execute kind of way, which is super annoying. It's one of those where like in my head it looks one way, and then when I go to try to do it in the game it just doesn't, because I'm trying to do like built-ins and things, and I know I can't do that in The Sims, so I don't know why I always continue to try. But I do. Anyways, so this kind of vibe though, this sort of warm, creamy vibe, that's kind of what I've been going for in that house. So I'm wondering now if like I couldn't steal some of these ideas for the front room. Interesting. But what I was gonna say too is like I've been trying to do cutouts or do built-ins and stuff, and I did a built-in desk situation in that front drawing room area to kind of fill it in, and now I'm wondering if I could swap that out with a cutout. That would be pretty cool, because I do like the way this looks. I did fill it up with stuff because I didn't want my Sims leaving plates there. I'm sure they still will, but the other thing too is like if we were doing a more modern build, you could absolutely put like a bar in there, have like a little cutout with a bar, because they can get in there. It's a doorway, it's a functional room-ish, it's just tight. I don't know if they can use those little side cabinets because they're right up against the wall, but like I'm pretty sure you could put a bar in there. Maybe you might have to make it like one bigger, but you could put a bar in there and it would turn out pretty cool. Oh, this was me trying to see if I liked this better. I didn't. It goes back. But I was trying, you can see where I was struggling. I was trying to get the correct vibes here. Also, I kind of wish that that buffet thing was like one tile wider, or like a half tile wider, just so that it filled out a room a little bit more. You could also, I guess you could probably do that, build something like that with countertops pretty easily. So maybe next time. Point being, this is a good inspiration jump off for a lot of other things. But I just wanted something warm and really cozy. So it's a tight little room. Let's see if we can count here. It's probably 5 by 5, and then that would be my guess. And then the little cutout is 3 by 1. So all in all, you're looking at something probably right around 5 by 6 plus a little. So it'd fit really nicely into most houses. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 5 by 5, and then the cutout. So it's not a huge space, but like I was saying, if you removed the lamps and put something smaller on that, and then removed the decor and put what's the word I'm looking for, television or like a radio or something there, it would be a much more functional living space. And if you traded out like maybe some of the plants and decors for chairs and stuff, you could turn it into a family room really easily. It would not be that hard. But this room reminds me really strongly of my aunt too. My aunt had a very sort of warm, like leather tones and found objects and sort of like rich creams and stuff. That was her vibe for a really long time. She's an interior designer and she's like super good at her job. Her stuff was always super inspiring. But I remember her house, because she lived in one of those like kind of Street of Dreams neighborhoods. Her house was like to the nines decorated. It was always so pretty. And then they moved out to a farm, and she has a really pretty farmhouse now, and it's all done in like more like, it's still got that warm cream vibe, but it's much lighter creams, and now it's a lot more whites, and she's got a lot of blues, and her dining room is like lilac, which sounds awful, but is so pretty. I've tried to build her little farmhouse in The Sims before because it's really striking. It's got like an open upstairs to most of the house and stuff, and the like main living space is 2 floors vaulted. So it's a very striking house, but unfortunately because of the roof glitch, where if you have like an open upstairs and then like you have a first floor roof, the roof just cuts into the house no matter what you do. Because of that glitch and the fact that it still exists this many years on, I can't build that house, which is really annoying. It's so annoying. But looking back at this now, like watching this is very much her vibe, and I'm like, that makes sense why I was so mad that it wasn't working. It's because I was modeling it after something in real life and didn't even realize it. But lots of plants on this side of the room, less plants on the other side of the room. Big curtains though on those front windows. I kind of imagine this being the front of the house. I didn't build the rest of the house. You easily could. I mean, I think there's a pretty strong aesthetic here you could follow in the rest of the house. The only thing is, I will say, this sort of warm cream thing, really hard to do in a kitchen. Kitchen counters are another one of those things that, for the most part, are very polarizing in themes. It's just, I would love the more just traditional cabinets to have better colors. And I know I could do that myself. I talk about this all of the time. But there's, like, if I do it, it doesn't help you guys, unless I release that. And again, I can't promise my stuff isn't gonna break everything. I don't know what I'm doing with CC. But, and I wish, like, the vampire cabinets? Maybe you guys don't. I've used them before. You guys know the vampire cabinets. They're so pretty, and they have 3 colors, and they would be so helpful if they just had normal colors. But I'd also love, like, a more traditional counter or cabinet that's like just a square little detail. Like a lot of our cabinets have like really decorated inlays and stuff. I would love just a simple square inlay. That would be awesome. That'd be super cool. Because a lot of our cabinets are very polarizing, and a lot of them look really grungy, which annoys me to no end. I almost put so many candles on that little cutout because it's funny. It's I like it a lot, but it was one of those where it was like, what do I do with this? So. And as the pictures, and I don't think the chair, I ended up not using the chair. There's some things in here that if you don't have unlocks, it'll yell. So you just have to unlock through the career stuff. Those pictures are one of them, and I think there's something else in here, I can't remember what it is, but I definitely used the unlocks cheat a couple of times. So, and this little corner kind of confused me because it definitely needed something, but I couldn't figure out for sure what it needed. I don't even remember what I stick in here, to be honest with you, but it definitely needed something. Looking at it now, you know what I would do, hindsight being 2020, that clock that I had out earlier, the cottage living clock, I would probably put the cottage living clock there. That to me would make a lot of good sense. I think I put these and leave them. Yeah, they're cute too. They're definitely pretty cute, but I think I would have put the college living clock there. Please ignore the ridiculous window flashing there. Small rooms, and I like to work with the walls up as much as possible. And so, this is the only room in the history of ever, too, side note, where I had luck with rugs really quickly. Rugs are usually the bane of my existence because you either find the color you want, not the right size, or the size you want, not the right colors. This worked out so good, and then I decided it needed to be a pet-friendly space, so there's a bed and a ball, and there's room for food if you'd wanted to, but it's not a kitchen. I always put the dog food in the kitchen because that's where the dog food is in my house in real life. So here's the screenshots. I'll go ahead and let you go because I've been rambling for a real long time. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday, and I will talk to y'all very, very soon.